Right. Sorry I look rough, I've been up all night with Jerry. I wasn't going to do this video, but I kept thinking about it, so I'm going to do it and face the backlash. Now, I listened to Britney Spears' memoir and audiobook, not last week. Was it last week? Might have been last week. And I'll just start off by saying I am unapologetically pro-life, but this isn't a pro-life versus pro-choice debate. So don't come at me for being pro-life, even though I know some people will anyway. Because what I'm about to say, I think both pro-lifers and pro-choice people can agree with. Even though I am pro-life, I do think that women are going to have abortions anyway. And if they're going to have abortions, they need to, one, be fully informed on what is involved, and two, if they still want one after that, it needs to be performed in a safe environment. And I also think that abortion shouldn't become a profit thing like Planned Parenthood in America. But anyway, what I wanted to say was, and I'm not coming from, well, maybe I am coming from a pro-life standpoint, but like I say, I think people who are pro-choice can agree with this as well. In Britney Spears' memoir, if you've not read it or listened to it, when she was early 20s, late teens, I forget when, because she doesn't really say her age a lot, but that kind of a young woman era. She's living with Justin Timberlake. She's been living with him for a while. She discovers she's pregnant. So they're in, they're two young people with both rich and successful, with all the advantages of the Western world. They're in a long-term relationship. She finds out she's pregnant. It's not the end of the world for her, because she always thought that she would, her and Justin would get married and have babies and live happily ever after. It's just happened sooner than she thought. It's no big deal to her. Whereas he's adamant he doesn't want to be a dad. So she says in the book that if it was up to her, she would never have got rid of the baby. But because he didn't want to, she agreed to it. Now that doesn't shock me. You hear that story again and again and again in the Western world. But this is the bit that was most shocking for me. Because they didn't want the press to find out, there was only Justin Timberlake, her and her assistant. And she took the pills at home. She was in a lot of pain. They wouldn't let her see a doctor. They wouldn't let her go to a medical facility. Even when she was lying on a toilet floor with the baby bleeding out of her in agony for hours and hours, they wouldn't let her go see anybody in case we got found out. I mean, she says Justin Timberlake went and laid on the bathroom floor with her for a bit. But that's still awful to me, that she wasn't allowed. Even though abortion is legal, she was still denied medical care. So that's a shocking thing to me. But I think the whole thing just really confirms about abortion. One, there needs to be better education on what an abortion entails, on the different stages of abortion, the different abortions. It isn't just taking a pill and it's over with like that, and you never have to think about it again, and you're not going to be in pain. And she clearly had no idea what an abortion entailed, because it was a shock to her that she was going to be in pain. It was a shock to her that she was going to bleed. It was a shock to her that she was going to have to live with it for the rest of her life. There's speculation that the pop video every time is about saying about she's sorry about the baby's life, and she says in the book that it's still the most harrowing thing she's ever been through, and bearing in mind Britney Spears has been through a lot. So there needs to be education on what an abortion actually is, rather than just saying the baby's a clump of cells, just take this pill, everything's going to be fine. Or the later abortions where you are actually ripping a baby limb from limb out of its mother. People don't know these things. They think pro-life nutters are making it up, and it's not. That is what happens. There also needs to be education on what happens in the womb, when a baby becomes a baby, at what stages. There needs to be education on how you're going to feel So that you've got to live with it for the rest of your life, what you're actually doing, and you might not realise what you're actually doing until it's too late. There needs to be education for young women on being coerced into things. And there also needs to be education for young women on their rights. Like if they do find themselves in a situation like that, then it's their right to have medical care. And if, I mean, I don't agree with it, obviously, but if, after all that, after having counselling to check that is what you want, after being fully aware of the stages of pregnancy, what the baby looks like, how far along you are, that it's actually a human, all that, after being told what an abortion actually does and how it's actually performed and what you're actually going to go through, and that, you know, this is a permanent decision, you can't reverse it. If after all that you still want an abortion, it should be done in a safe way, and there should be aftercare. I can't see that she had any aftercare after that. She still says it's the most harrowing experience, which it would be. I mean, you've got the most successful, arguably the most beautiful girl at the time, on a bathroom floor begging for help and no one's giving it her. It's an outrageous story. It is. And I'm not blaming Justin Timberlake either, because everybody's blaming Justin Timberlake, because apart from the fact she agreed to it, this education I'm talking about needs to extend to boys as well. It needs to extend to boys and young men as well. We're 20 years on, he's married, he's got kids. You know, he was probably told from year dot that, you know, an abortion, just take a pill, it solves all your problems. It's not a proper baby yet. You know, we're to berate, and not even considered the psychological effects it has on the mother or anything like that. So I'm not blaming him, because he was probably uneducated about the whole thing as well. But I think that whole passage in Britney Spears' book just confirms there needs to be more education on reproduction in general. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry, it's a bit of a, well, it's a serious topic, that one, but I just wanted to put that out there, because people don't talk about it enough, because they're frightened they're going to get jumped on. I'm probably going to get jumped on, but like I've said, I think this applies to both sides of the argument. If you're going to have an abortion, so one, so you're safe, two, so you know it is actually the right decision to you and you're not going to be scarred for it the rest of your life, and three, so you're actually informed and make an informed choice. I think that education is important for both sides. Tell me what you think, but don't jump on me.